Yeah, he was a good dude, man. He got me a bunch of hours before I moved to Seattle. Really helped me get all those hours. He was a good dude, man. I hope he's doing good wherever he is. He's a he's a good dude, and some of the stuff I saw there or heard, it's kind of crazy. I heard the story. This judge was still there when I was there. This was only a few years before I started working there. I don't remember which judge it was. Of course, this is Tennessee, and this guy had threatened this judge before, and so this guy came up before this judge, and he said the guy's name. The judge is like, "Oh, please, so and so rise." And he said, "Wait, hold on 1 second." He pulled out a fucking uh, like Colt 45 revolver, slammed it on his desk or podium where the judge sits, and then turned it so it was facing the guy, and it said, "All right, so and so, you may rise." Which is so fucking illegal. A judge can't bring a gun in and point it at the motherfucker before. But like I said, fucking Tennessee, baby, fucking and sometimes because the old courthouse, I said, it was just getting your tags renewed. You paid your property taxes there, all the boring shit. The new courthouse is where the shit went down. That's where they did traffic stops, traffic tickets, but they also did murder, robbery, the real shit. I remember one of the murder cases. This guy beat his wife to death with a frying pan until he broke the handle off. And I remember one of the court because I'd hear about all the shit going on upstairs, and then people come downstairs tell me everything going on in the courtroom. And this one time, this guy murdered his wife, and the lawyer went up there with a piece of plywood. He had about a 3 foot by 3 foot section of plywood, and he had it so the whole courtroom could see it. He said, "See this piece of plywood? This piece of plywood has over 100 impressions in it. Because if you look at this plywood, there is over 100 punctures. Each one of these punctures goes a minimum of a half inch into this plywood." He counted, it was something like 146 of these, right? Puncture. He goes, "This plywood was the subfloor beneath the victim. This plywood is the subfloor in the house where she was laying. So on top of this subfloor would be foam." He held up the foam, showed him how thick it was. The carpet, he shows him how thick it was. And then her chest. And he shows how thick that was. And he goes, "This man was stabbing her so violently with this knife that each time it was going completely through her chest, top to bottom, and stabbing into the fucking floor like an inch. Each stab wound. That's how fucking hard this motherfucker was stabbing her." He got convicted. She was dead as fuck, obviously. But I'll never forget hearing that one. I was like, "God damn. Holy shit, motherfucker. God damn." And then they'd bring these killers in. They'd stop everything. No one's walking in and out. We had this road in front of us. There's 2 lanes. Right in front of our entrance, there's 2 lanes in the parking garage. And they bring these killers in. They'd have these vans. They block the road on both sides of these vans. And they'd have like 12 guys out there. 6 on each side with 12 gauge shotguns and fucking bulletproof vest on. It'd be 6 on each side of the road, just standing there with these vans. And then they bring in the killer, all shackled up, ankles, wrists, all that. And then they have like 4 guys with him with shotguns. So the 12 guys would be out on the road, and then like 5 or 6 guys would walk in with this guy with shotguns too. And my job was just get the fuck out of the way. He'd walk right through the metal detector and go ding 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 ding. You know, all the fucking handcuffs and shit, and they just walk him right up there, man. And just be like, holy, he'd walk out like Hannibal Lecter. He wouldn't be in the Thing. He would look like a Steve Buscemi in fucking the beginning of Con Air. That's how they'd walk him through me. And it was like, God damn. And they always told me, underneath this courthouse is a tunnel. So when you get convicted, you go downstairs, underneath the road, you come up across the street in a jail. And I got to see that years later when I got arrested for marijuana. Yeah, it was crazy, man. Some of the stories and stuff you'd hear there. I had a lot of other jobs in Tennessee. I used to work at a KFC, and I was a pretty shitty employee. It was the years before that. So in between Bones Smokehouse and me being a security guard, I guess I was a junior in high school. And yeah, I don't know if you ever got to work fast food. It is a shit. Sorry, excuse me. It's a shitty gig, man. It is pretty damn rough, man. It, oh, I hated it. It was just fried chicken. I mean, it was cool eating chicken and shit. And if you, man, they throw away so much chicken. If you work at a KFC, dude, you gotta throw. When you go in there and order, you see it all there, right? But we have these little numbered tags on it that tell the time we cooked it. You get like 45 minutes, and then you gotta throw it away. Trays, we throw away like trays of this shit, man. And I'd be like, damn, you gotta take this home. And I'd always be like, no. And of course, I'd always like steal some. Well, I wasn't stealing. I was gonna throw trash. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't supposed to take it. But it's like I'm not. Jesus Christ, it's so wasteful. So wasteful. If you're ever out on the road and you want to go dumpster diving for food, I would just stand behind a KFC straight up, dude. Especially if it's a slow day. If you see a slow day at a KFC, just stand there, dude, because they're gonna be coming out throwing out a fuckload of chicken. Because it was so much, we just take it straight to the dumpster in the back. We want to put it in our can. It's just like, dude, just go. It's like 6 trays of chicken. Just go to the back with it. It literally so just with the whole tray of chicken. Just, but a lot of times we just throw it in a garbage bag and then huck it. So, you know, you know how it is. Sometimes you gotta get in the dumpster, get a little food, a little snacky wackies. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, if you saw me and I was walking out there with you and I saw you, like, hey, dude, here you go, man. Holy shit. I remember I used to work at a movie theater too. I used to work at a movie theater in concessions. And my brother reminded me of this. He's like, man, do you remember he used to come home with the popcorn? I was like, oh my God, I forgot. I would get so high at this job. And then at the end of the night, we throw away the popcorn. But they were like, you can take it home if you want. So I would take like a garbage bag full of popcorn and then add like all this extra butter, all this extra salt and shit. And then I would add nacho cheese to it and shake it up. And then my stoned ass was eating this shit on the way home, and I'd give it to my brother, and we'd eat the fuck out of it, dude. Oh my God. That was great. That's a sweet job, too. Work there. Concessions is rough, but in between the movie drops, you don't get to do shit. The job you want in the movie theater is to work the door. That's the guy that just goes, aisle 3 or theater 4. But then when it's gone, you go sweep in there. You don't got to sweep up shit. The movie theater all looks like shit. But they would always find this shit. You know, like candy and money and wallets and all that kind of shit. Yeah, I worked at this KFC though. And fuck, I hated that fucking job so much. It was so dangerous. Like, probably one of the most dangerous jobs because it's all deep fryers and pressure cookers. And at the end of the night, I just had to dump all this boiling ass oil out of there. And this shit would be like 1,000 degrees. And if I spilled it, it would be like a giant, like a 5 gallon bucket full of this shit. And I'd be emptying, like, there's like 4 deep fryers, like 2 pressure cookers. So I'd be taking out like 10 buckets of this shit a night. And if I, just the floor would be so slick, dude, because there's grease everywhere, dude. And I would just be sitting there, my little feet just slipping, and just I'm carrying just death in my hands, dude. And I was a dumb kid. I knew it was bad. I had no idea it was that bad. I had no idea. It's like, oh yeah, you'll be like permanently disfigured, and yeah, if this spills on you, you'll never be the same. And I'd just be like, stupid bucket, fucking piece of shit, fucking gay ass job. Holy Christ, it was so dangerous. And seriously, one of the most dangerous things. I didn't realize at the time how fucking insanely dangerous that was. And then it was, I fucking had to go to work one day. I got I got trashed. Right in high school, I got trashed. I got shit faced. It was great, and it was like one of these point. My parents sent me to a group home for like a year in high school because I smoked pot. So you can't do that kind of. I don't think you can do that kind of shit anymore. But in the 2000s, like Paris Hilton talks about it. There's a bunch of these videos now. They talk about this shit, but it wasn't even a group home. We used to call it a group home, and the guy there told us, he's like, "It's not a group home. It's a residential treatment facility." And we're like, "What's the difference?" They're like, "A group home has a licensed doctor." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So it wasn't even a group home. It was a fucking just a place for you know uh, kids whose parents didn't want them anymore. Is what it was. And they just would take insurance. So if they would just, hey, you fucking send your kid away. Hey, fuck them. You a shitty parent? Don't like your kid? Hey, fuck him. You're the adult. So I was at this place for like a year, and they didn't do anything. It was really, really stupid. I'll talk about this shit later. So here's was after that. Yeah, it was because I was a junior. I had a car. Yes, it was. I was driving. I had an old '89 Delta Oldsmobile. Fucking love that thing. Everyone made fun of it. Oh, it's an old lady's car. I didn't give a fuck. Then we get stoned and drive around in it and be like, man, your car's so comfy. Oh, these seats. And it's like a cloud. I was like, I told you this fucking car rules, dude. Fucking love my fucking old sedans. Now they're cool as shit, but at the time everyone's like, oh, duh, we wanted to get a big lifted truck. I was like, because I don't have the fucking money. It's a hand me down. It's all fucked up, but I love it. It was fucked up. The front windows didn't roll down, and they didn't have air conditioning. And the back windows had the child safety thing, so they went down like 4 inches, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in Tennessee in the summer, no air conditioning, windows that only roll down 4 inches in the back, bro. It was a death sentence. It was so fucking hot in that fucking car. And I went out one night, got drunk, hung out with my friends, and I went home. And my plan was just to sleep, because I never wanted a part time job. My parents were like, you got to have a part time job. You can play a sport or you got to get a job. So you got to get a job. A lot of times it was sports. I got tired of sports. I was like, I might as well make some money. Fuck. Just tired of running around for nothing. But I wasn't that athletic either. So I was like, great. Well, barely right in the binge. So I had this job at KFC, which, good for them. Good parenting, teach you how to work. So uh, I knew my schedule. I don't know how the fuck. So I was just going to go home, go to sleep. So I go to bed whatever time I came back at home. I think it was one of those nights I was like, oh, I'll be there at like 10. And I got in way later. They were asleep, so it's all good. You know how it is. So it's like 7 in the morning. My dad's like, what are you doing? You got to be at work. I was like, what? He's like, you got work today. You're supposed to be there in like an hour. I was like, how does this guy know my goddamn God. So I was like, yeah, I know. I'm waking up. I'm going. But inside, I was just like, fuck, I can't believe it. I was so hungover. So hungover. Couldn't let him know that. So, 17, 16, where the fuck I was. So I get in my car. I remember it was towards the end of the year, into my junior year. It was like the last 2 weeks. You're supposed to be studying for your finals. And so it's super hot in Tennessee. Super goddamn hot. I cannot believe I grew up in that shit. So fucking hot there. And I'm driving to work just hung over as dog dick, man. Just fuck, man. I'm green in the gills. And it's a billion degrees in my car, man. I'm going stoplight to stoplight. It's the KFC right there at fucking East Brainerd Road, right there by Gun Barrel, man. It's still there. And I'm driving to it, just going stoplight to stoplight. I'm just like, oh God, I'm gonna die. Like, I am so hungover. It's so hot. And I got to the stoplight and I was gonna throw up. Oh yeah, my dad didn't even wake me up. I was already like 2 hours late for work. So I'm driving there and I'm at the stoplight. I'm like, I'm gonna throw up. I was like, I am gonna throw up. And my first thought was barf out my window. But then I was like, shit, my windows don't work. So what I should have done was just open the door and throw up. But because I was a kid, I was like, no, if they fucking see me throw up, they'll know I was drinking yesterday and I'll get in trouble. So the next thought was where to barf then, because I can't get my window down. So I saw my backpack for school. So I grabbed my backpack, dude, and unzipped it, and there's all my books, all my notes, all my little stupid folders, and I just throw up all in it, dude. Just all over my school books, all over everything I'm supposed to be studying for my finals. And the light turned green. And I remember I zipped up my backpack and it was just like, I guess we're done studying for the year. And I turned in all those books. Those all got turned in. And no one said anything, you know? They didn't have money for all our books, and most of our schools were just notes and shit. Because I was going to this high school that was like 4 times the amount of kids that they were supposed to have. Now they fixed it because they built another high school in that area. But at the time, the school was built for like 500 kids. They had like 1,800 of us there. So they were just like, we don't got enough books for you fuckers. you would pick up the book in the classroom and then just leave it. And then you'd be like, okay, just write this down. And you were just expected to write down everything that was in the textbook and then study that and then come home. It was a mess. The school was just, of course, it was in Tennessee. It was a public high school in Tennessee. So it wasn't like, you know, we got money for stuff. So I just threw up all over those fucking books, all over my book bag. And it was all over my shirt. I was wearing my work clothes. I hadn't even washed from the time before, so it still has that chicken and grease all over. It's all wrinkled, plus my vomit. And I got to work, and I remember just standing there, just hungover as shit. And I was like, ugh. And my manager's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm here for work. And she's like, you're like 3 hours late. Like, we already got someone to come in for you. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, like I fucking want to be. So I turned around and got in the car. I was like, great, off day, yay, get the day off. And I remember I drove back home and I just went to bed. And when I was like, what the hell are you doing back here? I was like, oh, I wasn't supposed to work today. He was like, what? I was like, I don't know. I read the schedule wrong. I don't know. And I remember he was like, oh, god damn it. And whatever. He got distracted by something else. I was able to sleep the rest of the day. Holy Christ. Fuck, that was nice. God, that was. Oh, God damn it. I still had to work there too. I worked there for a while. Fuck. Fuck, I hated that job.